Good morning. It is February 12th, 2024. This is episode 75 of the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast, a podcast for a dreamer, for dreamers by a dreamer. Happy day after Super Bowl. I hope that the outcome was in favor of your desires. I can say for me, it definitely was not. Not because I really care about the 49ers or the Chiefs, but in this particular situation, seeing as how I didn't have a dog in the fight, and I'm not a fan of the Chiefs, I'm definitely not a fan of the 49ers as a Cardinals fan. Obviously, the 49ers have pretty much dominated our division almost every year and dominated the Cardinals for most seasons, with a few anomalies where the Cardinals were able to be victorious. But after all of that, I was rooting for Brock Purdy because I like that kid a lot. And I love that no one gave him a shot. No one gave him a chance. You know, last pick in the draft. Nobody thought he would do anything. And here he is slinging in the Super Bowl. Almost went to the Super Bowl last year if it weren't for his injury, which was just so unfortunate. So hopefully he will have a successful career. Well, I mean, hopefully next season my Cardinals and Kyler Murray will actually be a formidable team again. That's what I want to happen next season. But anyway, it was a really good game. I enjoyed it. And, you know, I'll tell you, sports, man. That's these kids living their dreams. And I'm living my dream too. Maybe I'm Mr. Irrelevant. Maybe I'm Mr. Irrelevant in the comedy draft, taking last place. So anyway, I am now back in Arizona. I'm actually not driving. So if you are watching this on YouTube and you're going, well, if you're not driving, how come you're not playing video? Well, I noticed something interesting, and that is when I just do the audio with that graphic, when I post these on YouTube, I get like a lot more views for some reason, which makes me feel like people seeing my face makes them not want to watch. But if it's just my voice and a picture, then they're all in. So, you know, I don't know what that means. I don't know how to unpack that, but I just noticed that. I've only done, I think, 3 travel editions where I just had the graphic instead of the video, and all 3 of them had significantly more views. Now, you know, we're dealing in the tens of views. I'm not even up in the hundreds or even the thousands of views. Hopefully someday. I think I will need to be famous before I start getting those numbers, you know, the Bill Burr numbers. But so I was like, well, hey, if people like to watch this or listen to it, but for some reason having the video causes them to scroll by, well, then maybe this is a way to connect with more people out there living their dreams and might have an interest in what a obscure stand-up comedian in the Phoenix area is up to, and my journey as I am living it in real time and having an opportunity to talk to those people who I'm meeting along the way. I actually do have a couple of guests slated this week, which I am very, very excited about. I had both of them scheduled last week, but we had to reschedule. So hopefully I will be able to have a few more guests on this week who I think are very fascinating, incredible human beings, and are definitely dreamers. So how am I feeling? I did not have a super great mental health weekend. It's, you know, it's funny because I'm out there in Temecula. You know, I'm featuring at this casino. For the most part, it's going well, but I really had a down day Saturday. I just, something had really knocked me off my mental health game, and I got very discouraged. It's so difficult to stare reality in the face sometimes in this business. And, just the reality of how difficult it is to, even make a living as a stand-up comedian. But, even if you are making a living, making a decent living. And, I've talked about this a lot before. It's like, I know comedians who are funnier, more established, have had bigger opportunities than me, and they're still, struggling to make ends meet. The headliner that I performed with over the weekend, who was just unbelievable, just a killer, and he's been in the game, I think, 20 years longer than I have. And he's got a comedy special on YouTube that has almost 8 million views on it. And I just said, man, did that do anything for you? And he's like, no, not really. And here I am filming an audio version of my podcast for YouTube because I'm getting 70 views instead of 10 views on it. But it's where I'm at. It's just where I'm at, and I don't know how any of this works. I'm figuring it out as I go, and just as much as possible trying to be as transparent, realistic, and pragmatic as possible, while also being as ambitious and hopeful and dreaming as big as possible, and trying not to get lost in the space in between. Trying not to get wrapped up in the space between the hopes and the dreams and the reality and the cynicism, because I'll tell you, it's easy to look at that gap sometimes and just go, man, what the heck am I up to here? But I just think that's it. I just think that's the case. I've had a couple of interactions, actually, just yesterday on Sunday. The first interaction was a good friend of mine sent me a text message, and he's in the real estate investment space, and it's so comical to me and ironic because from everything that I'm looking at, he's been incredibly successful. He's made a lot of money. He's been able to grow his development company, and now he's developing apartment complexes. He has a big, beautiful house, the really nice car, the family, and the kids. And yet when we talk, he's just talking to me like a peer, and the struggles that he's going through to try to get to the next level. And, he's still learning and he's still dreaming. And, and I don't know, it just seems to be that is the reality of all of this. There's, no matter who you are, no matter where you're at, there's always somewhere you're trying to get, and some sort of reality and cynicism that you're grappling with, and discouragement and setbacks. And so anyway, he sent me this YouTube video yesterday, of this gentleman who, his dream was to run a marathon under 3 minutes, and then he gets in a motorcycle accident, breaks his femur, has to get a titanium rod in, and the doctors say he'll never run again. So then his goal is to, again, run a marathon under 3 hours and, prove the doctors wrong and all that stuff. And it took him 17 years. And the YouTube video is really awesome how they put it together, because it's just marathon after marathon after marathon, coming in above 3 hours. And then he gets married, and he has kids, and he's getting older, and he's just talking about how every year it's going to get harder to accomplish this goal. Every year he's getting older. He's prioritizing his family. He has more responsibilities. And he just talks about that, that struggle of how am I gonna accomplish this goal? How am I gonna accomplish this dream? And so that was really good to hear that and be reminded of, somebody else going through that journey and still trying to figure out his life and figure out his dreams. And then I met up with a friend of mine, and she's a flight attendant, and we'll hang out whenever she's in town. And she was talking to me about how she had gotten into real estate investing recently and had purchased some property, and all of the struggles that she was going through to step into this new element of her life where she's looking to go for her dreams. And part of her dreams involves having real estate property and investments and setting herself up financially and being able to have that part of her life in addition to her job, as a flight attendant. And when she just started talking through all of the struggles that she's going through and everything that she's having to learn and all of the fears and the anxieties, and, nothing's turning out the way that she expected. And I'm sitting here listening to her tell this story, and I'm going, oh my gosh, like that's the same story. It's my story. It's my other buddy's story who's a real estate investor. It's every comedian, every actor, every investor, every entrepreneur, any romantic, anybody looking for, that life partner or that romance or that family life or, whatever it is. It just seems to be the same story over and over and over again. And it's the same story that I'm living right now, and that because I'm in this space that I'm seeing that around me. It's the whole whatever you're focused on, you'll see it show up everywhere. The moment you buy a new car, all of a sudden you see your same car model popping up all over the place. And that's what I am noticing more and more as I am going down this path, as I am starting to see more and more the dreamers of the world and recognizing their journey and their path and their struggle, because ultimately it's all the same path from what I can tell. The template is the same. The template is the same of my life is what it is right now today. There is something outside of my current reality that I desire, that's calling to me, that I want, that I know if I got it, it would mean something to me. Whatever that meaning may be, whether it's more financial security or more opportunity or more fulfilling romantic relationships or, whatever it is. And then it's, well, in order for me to get there, I have to step outside of my current life. I have to step outside what I normally do on a day-to-day, because we're all creatures of habits. Creatures of habit. Dan Rouse talked about that a lot on the podcast, who I had on the podcast about a week ago, of how prone human beings are to find a rut, find a pattern that at least works, and then just stay in that pattern, stay safe, don't really stray from that path, and then live and die, And to have a dream means, okay, my life is what it is today to whatever degree of tolerability that may be. And who knows, maybe your life is actually perfectly fine. Maybe it's perfectly content. You're not in like a dire financial situation. You're not living on the street. You know what I mean? And, God be with the people who are in those situations, who are struggling to that degree. But to be in a certain situation and go, okay, this is good, excellent, but what more can I accomplish, and what other experiences and fulfillment might be out there if I risk the comfort of what I have for the potential of greater expansion in the future. And it is a risk. I was talking to that flight attendant friend of mine, and just, the financial risk she took to invest in this property. And there's never a guarantee. If there was, it wouldn't be an investment. Investment equals risk. And I just think about how much risk I have taken to follow this dream and to pursue it. I mean, I've risked pretty much my whole life, really. I mean, that's a little dramatic. I mean, I do have some fallback because, I still do have a job, which I'm very grateful for. But, I'm risking building that job into maybe a more robust career, which would definitely yield greater financial stability in the future. It's like, well, if I was really going at my day job as a career, it's like, oh, I could totally be a big time, like, small business consultant, lead generation, digital marketing, CRM management, pipeline automation guru guy. And, I could build that out and then, go do the seminars and, sign up a bunch of businesses and, charge them, $15,000 a pop to, go set up their CRM systems for them and promise them X, Y, and Z. And, but that's not what's in my heart, And I don't, it's so fascinating because I don't know why this is in my heart. I mean, that's the thing I cannot figure out is it feels like it's a choice, but at the same time, it doesn't. It feels almost, I hate to use the word because it has such religious connotation, but it feels almost predestined. And I don't get that at all. I mean, that is just so beyond whatever my conscious mind has the capacity to comprehend as to, 8 billion people on the planet, a billion different opportunities to have a life and to, different careers and different life choices. And here I am seemingly consciously choosing to try to be a comedian and like really wanting to have that be my life in a manner that it's like it's actually successful. And the world is changing. It's not like it was 20 years ago. This was something I was talking to the headliner who's been in the game a long time. He just goes, yeah, the game has changed. He goes, it was all about that 7-minute set, back in the 80s, 90s, maybe even the early 2000s, you would, as a comedian, if you wanted to try to make it, you'd go slum it out in New York, go slum it out in LA. You'd write your 7-minute set. You'd work that 7-minute set. You'd get it really tight. You'd hustle at, the clubs, doing the open mics. Hopefully, a booker would see you or somebody would see you who could actually give you stage time. Keep doing that 7-minute set. And then hopefully one of the bookers of, either, the Comedy Store, hopefully, maybe Mitzi Shore would see you, or Laugh Factory or Hollywood Improv, or, if you're in New York, the Comedy Cellar or whatever it was, and then hope that whoever was casting, doing the casting for The Tonight Show or for David Letterman or Conan O'Brien, that maybe you could get, a spot on that late night television. And then from there, you do that spot, and then hopefully, maybe some casting directors would see you and think that you would be a good fit for their TV show, or, I don't know. It just seems like now in 2024 that sort of pathway is less and less available. And, it's anybody's guess now, but obviously with the advent of social media, it just really seems that the game now is to find a way to grow a strong social media presence and then parlay that social media presence into ticket sales. And then if you can parlay it into ticket sales, now you have something of value. And then if you can continue to grow that audience and grow that fan base. So, and I'll tell you, that's what I am trying to figure out. I have tried so many different little social media things, trying to do different characters, trying to do different sketches, trying to cut up my stand-up in a number of different ways, try doing jokes, try doing longer videos, shorter videos, doing crowd work videos, doing man on the street videos, my Lord Voldemort videos, putting clips of my podcast, doing response videos. It's just mind-boggling. And, to date, nothing that I've really taken a stab at has really given any indication that, like, oh yes, that's the thing, to where the results are so clearly exceeding what I normally do, that I can see that, oh well, if I just replicate this video format, then I'll be able to grow. I'll be able to, make it happen. And man, it can be discouraging, and it can feel so soulless almost, of just like, oh, my whole goal now is just to trick some algorithm, just some gigantic nebulous brain that exists on some sort of computer server on the bottom of the ocean that was typed out in ones and zeros by some programming team who just sits in an office at TikTok and writes code all day, dictating how that brain determines what videos go where and when and who sees them and when they see them and how many people get to see them. But that's just the game. It's the game as far as I can tell. And that's the game I'm trying to figure out. So we'll see. It was really good. It was good to talk to my buddy, to talk to my flight attendant friend, and just hear like, yes, okay, they're out there dreaming too. They're trying new things. Kind of on the opposite ends of the spectrum. It's like, my one buddy who's the real estate developer, he's had a lot of success over the last 10 years, and yet he's still in the same phase of growth and dreaming and figuring things out and trying to get to the next level. And then my other friend just bought her first investment property and is trying to figure all that out and learn and grow and make it be successful. And I'm out here trying to figure out how to learn and grow and be successful as a comedian and try to find the right type of online content to post to start to gain fans online who will potentially then become fans in person. And that, again, is the name of the game as far as I can tell, barring some sort of traditional opportunity to where perhaps I can get on television. America's Got Talent can still work for some comedians. I I've seen it go both ways. I've seen it launch some comedians' careers, like my buddy Drew Lynch or my buddy Preacher Larson, who went on America's Got Talent, and it launched their careers. I've also seen it completely bury people, because I've had comedian friends of mine, and they were put on the show to fail, unfortunately. That's just the reality of reality TV. And so they went on there, and there was just no way that they were brought on the show to have any legitimate chance of being successful. So I don't know. I'm friends with the casting director of America's Got Talent. I've sent her a couple clips. She was interested in trying to get me on the show. The clips that I sent her, I haven't heard from her, so I'm going to assume that the clips that I sent her that she wanted me to send, that she asked me to send, didn't end up interesting the producers, because she's got to go make her case for the talent that she wants, that she has scouted, and then from there it goes up to the producers, and then the producers all sit in a room and decide, what acts make it on and what don't, and what acts don't. So anyway, that is the reality. So yeah, got a little discouraged over the weekend. I'm feeling better now. And I just have to keep reminding myself, like, Paul, this isn't personal. The internet is not personal. The fact that, all of the videos that I've been posting have not had any sort of major virality. It's not personal. It has nothing to do with you. It's just the algorithm. It's just the brain. Go back to the drawing board. And I'm starting to feel an inclination to go, all right, I've been a little stubborn with the internet. I've been a little bit like, hey, internet, this is what I want to do. Take it or leave it. And the internet is like, cool, we'll leave it. And I'm taking some humble pie and going, all right, what I really need to do here is I need to experiment and fail and iterate. And I just need to come up with, 100 different ideas and try one, see if it moves the needle. If it doesn't move the needle, either iterate, try a new idea. If it fails, let it fail. And I know this intuitively, it's difficult to swallow emotionally, but the reality is every successful person is the person who has failed more than everybody else. The most successful person is actually the biggest failure. And I just think I need to go fail a lot more. So I've been starting to just brainstorm different ideas, and the reality is I'm not interested in going viral for viral's sake. It's not like I'm willing to do anything just to go viral. It's like that's not the point. The point is, how do I gain a fan base who know who I am as a comedian, or at least as a comedic voice? It's a matter of, how can I package my comedic voice to have the largest influence on the largest potential number of fans, so that I can make them laugh, bring joy to them in the way that I is consistent with who I am. So, I'm not willing to just do anything just to get online famous. I see this guy's ads keep popping up to me where he talks about how to use AI to generate ads, and it's all nameless, faceless stuff. So he'll just go to AI and give me 10 motivational quotes, and then it'll just pop out 10 motivational quotes, and then he'll pop those into memes that are just sort of these templated memes, and then he'll just throw them online and just post them like crazy. And I'm going, okay, yeah, great. You've monetized something you didn't even create. And I'm like, it's not about just, oh, look I have a channel that I've put content on that is now monetized. Oh, look at me. I'm an artist and I'm a performer and I'm a comedic voice. And for whatever reason, that's been my mission, or that's what has chosen me. And I am dedicated to finding the most effective online vehicle to express that comedic voice in a manner that's still me, but also in a way that has the highest reaching potential. And I don't know what that is. All I know is everything that I've tried so far ain't it. I filmed that 1 hour comedy special and I cut that thing up. I've probably posted almost 70 or 80 clips that I've cut that comedy special up. And I've only had one clip out of those 70 that moved the needle at all on my TikTok. So TikTok pretty much just by default gives you about 200 to 300 views of a video. I think it's just their way of taking every video and giving it a quick test sample just to see, all right, does this have are people watching this? Is it stopping the scroll? Are people sharing it? Are they talking about it? And I had one video that instead of getting 200 got about 10,000 views, which again, in terms of actual influence, that is still zero. That rounds down to zero influence. And I'm not trying to be pessimistic. Again, like the headliner over the weekend has a YouTube video with 8 million views, and it didn't really make a huge difference. He said he got a couple corporate gigs out of it, right? So going from 200 to 10,000 is, if with rounding error, pretty much means going from 0 to 0.0001. But it at least was like, oh, okay, well, people like this video, and it was just a video where I talk about bassoon players, and it got picked up by this sort of community of bassoon players who are like, oh my gosh, a stand-up comedian is acknowledging us. But, that's not really something that I can capitalize on, like, oh, well, I'm going to go be the bassoon stand-up comic. But anyway, that's the game that I'm playing and that I'm trying to figure out. And I'm just starting to gear myself up to, all right, I need to put together a system of rapid failure, because I think I've been failing a little too slow, and I've been a little too stubborn with my content. And instead of going, oh, cool, all right, that didn't quite work, let's try something else, it's like, oh, that didn't work, well, let's try it 30 more times, and then maybe if I just keep doing it, the internet will change his mind. And it's like, nope, we still feel the same way. So that's going to be my next focus moving forward here into this next couple of months, is just seeing how many different video types I can come up with within my comedic voice, film something, test it, see how it goes, and then go from there. So that's the game. That's where I'm at, everybody. So this is February 12th, 2024. Thank you so much for listening. I hope all of you are out there living your dreams as you are learning and growing and figuring it out, that you are finding the answers you're looking for, finding joy in the journey, and that you are finding the drive and commitment and ambition to push through when things seem bleak and discouraging. And all I can say is I get it, and I'm here with you, and let's go live some dreams together. All right, everybody. I love you all so much. Thank you for listening. This is the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.